board. Okay. Okay, play versus kid. So when you're practicing chess openings, Molly, it's not mandatory to play 15 minutes because sometimes it's more important to play more games and see if you played the correct moves. And then you're not worried about like the result of the game, because it's understandable that if you get into time pressure, you can make more mistakes, right? But usually when you practice, this is like what my dad would never allow me to play fast games unless I was practicing chess openings. So as we can see here, oh, this one's 700. Yeah, maybe if we're actually, let's pawn b3. Remember, the first 3 moves are going to be 99% of the time the same. I understand that this person's 500. So they might not even play the moves, but that's okay. We're still going to be making. And so see, remember what we talked about? We want to remove the defender of the pawn on e5. So do you see what they just did here? They made a mistake. They're not even protecting this pawn. So we have to, I have a question though for you, Molly. So what is your decision? Should we say keep our 2 bishops, or do you want to remove the defender? They're both good. Just depends on, sure. Let's remove the defender. Perfect. And then we'll just take that pawn. See, in this case, there isn't even any sniper bishop. Okay, so did they just resign because they were losing a pawn? That's just a pawn. I understand that it's like a little trap, but so here's the thing, Molly. If you do ever lose a pawn in your game, you should just switch your mentality and then just pretend that you played a gambit. So a gambit is when you sacrifice a pawn in the beginning of the game to bring out your pieces, to improve your pieces. So just kind of switch your mentality. If you only lose 1 pawn, if you lose like a queen or a rook, yes, that's going to be a little bit tricky. But you can still win many games with just 1 pawn down. Okay, so I'm going to try again. Even if we play black, I'm still going to show you how to play as white or as black. Okay, another 400. I was kind of hoping for... Okay, this person, am I not? 10-minute game. Okay, so black. Ooh, we're also playing a pretty strong chess player. So as I mentioned earlier in our class, that if we play it as black, we just don't have the traps as good. So let's bring out the knight. I could have played this move, but I just want to trick him. You see how if the pawn gets pushed here, we can try to win the rook? I understand that that's hope chess. Okay, so see, they stopped. So let's just continue with the first 3 moves. So in this case, Molly, remember when we were talking about we have different setups for this opening that you can play here, but now there's nothing. See, there's just this pawn chain against the rook. So, however, what I was thinking in this position instead is we do the pyramid setup that that I showed you. So let's start off with moving the pawn to d5, and now we can do the pyramid setup. Okay, so the pawn gets pushed. We just bring our knight over, and now we play pawn c5. So, yeah, now we can just bring out our knight. Usually our knight would come out here, but as you can see, circumstances do change. So look at that beautiful pyramid setup. I like the pyramid setup. It's like, I know that they can break it, but okay, so what do we do? Well, we can just slowly develop our pieces. Do that. So in this position here, we can castle, and then we can try to break through. So usually what ends up happening, Molly, in these chess positions where your opponent has... Oh, okay. What's going on here? So the knight is going here. How many defenders do we have? 1, 2, 3. They have 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're good. We're safe. Okay. Oh, okay. But now... Okay, so one of the reasons why, Molly, I was just thinking in this position is because if we play pawn to f6 now, this bishop and this knight are overloaded. And they really want us to push. Now, Molly, one of the reasons why I don't really want to push is because then the position is going to be closed. But you know what? Maybe the computer later on is going to say that that is a better move. I don't know. Okay, how about let's not be in a rush. Let's see if we can play rook c8. Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling that that move was going to be played. Now let's play pawn f6. Oh, look what they're trying to do. Maybe I might have to play pawn f5 now. Okay, let's play pawn f5. Okay, so what I'm hoping here, okay, so do you see how when they moved the queen here, Molly, they put the queen and the knight in the spot of getting forked. So, see, very good thing that we didn't push the pawn to c4 immediately. So now we just win this knight. Now remember putting pressure, well, actually, when we have extra points, we want to trade. So I know that we talked about knights on the side of the board are only, they're not bad if you have a plan. If you have a plan, then it's not a bad idea. Okay, so now let's actually put the knight over here. I really like this spot. Okay, the reason why I'm just hesitating is because I'm just thinking, do I want to capture this bishop immediately, or this isn't a very good bishop, Molly. So remember we had a lesson on good and bad bishops, I believe, and bishops that are looking at their own pawns are bad bishops. So actually, do I even want to trade off this really nice knight? I don't think so. So here's the thing: when castled on separate sides, Molly, this is where we need to start creating an attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to start pushing our pawns. This is the same as, okay, interesting. Now, do we capture since the knight is in danger, or do we play bishop check? Oh, look at this, Molly. I didn't even notice. So check. And then look at this fork. I don't know why, but I don't really, this is a very surprising. This is a very, very surprising move. Oops. Oops, I feel bad. If you're wondering why did they resign, because we already had a knight, right? So we won the knight already, and they aren't just losing exchange; they already lost a knight, so they're gonna be down a full rook at this point. So that is why our opponent resigned. So I do understand that this game didn't really show that much justice to the opening. I did play as black. So remember, I did mention to you, if you play as black, you don't get as many traps as white, because when you play white, you are first, right? So you can be very aggressive. However, as black, I wish that there was a simple way to analyze this game. Let's quickly just check. Okay, we go here. Game history. See, I changed it for Easter, because Easter is going to be this weekend. Even if you don't celebrate like religiously or anything. Okay, switch to game review. Let's see. So I do prefer like the chess game analysis over this one, but this is still better than nothing. Okay, b6 is the last book move. b6 is a cautious move which looks to develop the light square bishop to b7 and to later undermine the center. See? Funmaster Mike, or whoever this guy is, knows what he's talking about. Queen d3 is a mistake. This overlooks an opportunity to castle on the same side as the opponent, right? So they did have a chance to, this is what the computer is saying, that it's better for white to castle on the same side and not have an attack. So instead, white did castle on this side where number one, I had the fork, but number two, it's also like where all of my pieces, right? You don't want to be castling where all of my pieces are like ready to pounce into, you know, onto this side. And then of course, castling, there was a fork. U1 material, okay, skip to end, show line. And there you go. Nice fork. You'll be winning even more material. That's nice. So we have negative 3.62, which basically means that we are almost negative 4. So we're almost like 4 points ahead. I guess it's closer to 3.5 points, but I like to sometimes round up. Okay, let's continue. I really hope that today we can get like a good game in against when we're playing white. Okay, white, yay. Okay, we are playing against the 1300 again. Okay, so they didn't play e5, that's okay. We're playing something a little bit different. You're playing this. Okay, so Molly, I haven't taught you this, but the same idea is that our main control is going to be the e5 square. So remember in the earlier lesson, we spoke about how it doesn't matter if there's a pawn or not on this square. This is our main square. So what I like to do is I like to eliminate the knight. So what we can do is we can create a little nice hub for our knight instead. Now, in this situation, we can't create double pawns. So instead, we're just going to bring out the knight first. And then even if they push, we're going to trade off and then get our knight into that juicy. I don't understand this move. This is my first time I've seen someone making a move like this. Interesting, interesting. But you know what? It's not a bad idea to... Oh, actually, let me think. This is such an obscure move. Usually we want to just remove the defender of e5. In this case, they did move, but they're not allowing us to remove a defender. This is very interesting. Sorry, Molly, I'm just thinking, you know what? Maybe let's decide to not trade off the bishop. Usually we want to use this bishop to get rid of the knight and then put the knight into here. However, maybe we won't even need that. Okay. I'm gonna castle. And then we can play here and then f4. Okay, so this person is really not allowing us to play knight to e5, so this is where I would probably change my plan, Molly, and just go into the pyramid setup. So it's kind of annoying that we can't do our little tricks this time. However, we're going to just create the pyramid setup. So in this situation, Molly, we have a decision that we want to make. Now, remember what I told you about this chess opening having flexibility. So this opening, if we want, we can capture and have 2 pawns for the pyramid. It doesn't matter the situation, our pyramid is broken. However, we can make a decision. Do we want to keep our bishop open or do we want to have more pawns in the center? That's kind of what I'm thinking about here. But maybe what we can do this time is we can keep the bishop open. By the way, both ideas are good. So it really just depends on what your mood is. And by the way, Molly, my mood sometimes changes. You know, one day I want to block off this bishop. And here, by the way, if you want to block off your bishop, you can still do so. I don't know which one's the better move. Actually, maybe even capturing with the queen is not a bad move now. And Molly, the reason why bringing out the queen I'm not worried about is because do you see there's no more knight that can attack the queen and the bishop is far away. You know what? Let's try capturing with the queen. I know that this is breaking the rules a little bit. As I mentioned, even this chess opening allows you to break some rules. Okay, so the knight came out to defend the pawn, totally fine. What I like to do is I like to add more pressure to the pawn, so let's do it. We're going to place the bishop here, and we're going to attack the pawn. What is going on here? Ooh, this pawn. That's kind of annoying, but maybe we can move this knight. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, if I move that knight, then... Oh no, it'll be fine. Is there... It's just a queen, right? But you're right. That's something that I should be looking at for sure. Maybe in the future they could play like knight to g4 or something. Let's play knight to c3. So right now the pawn on d5 is in trouble. Okay, for some reason I didn't think that this move was possible. So look at this move, knight takes d5. So we're doing a counterattack, Molly. So one of the things is when a piece is in danger, you look at the A, B, C, D. Away, block, capture, defend. C also stands for counterattack. Capture, but also counterattack. So in this position here, I did expect him or her to play, actually it's probably a him because his name is Jason, by the way. Okay, so in this position here, even though it's tempting to capture the pawn on e5, we did just give away our knight, so we should at least take the knight. This pawn is hanging, but that's okay. Okay, so they created this, but guess what, Molly? We can just quickly take this pawn and capture. I know that I make this chess opening seem very simple in terms of especially since I've been playing this opening for so many years. Actually, maybe capturing here was better to ruin the pawn structure. So pawn structure is very important, Molly, because right now not only are we up 2 points, but now look at these 2 isolated pawns. that we can just simply go and grab. So rooks like to be on open lines. I don't know, it's very tempting to just capture this pawn. This pawn is for free. And I don't see anything bad that's going to happen. So why not? I am a little bit greedy right now, I know. I want to go here. Or maybe that's not a very good idea. I can trade rooks right now. So one of the reasons why I'm being a little bit careful. Okay, you know what? Let's try this. We're going to trade rooks. Then I'm thinking of playing pawn c3. Okay, my bishop is defending the pawn, by the way. So one of the reasons what I'm trying to do is if the bishop goes here, I'm just going to put the bishop on d4. Okay. That's kind of annoying. So one thing I'm not liking is that this rook might get here. You know what? I'm going to try trapping. I want him to go here so he kind of traps his own piece. Also, at some point, Molly, we do have to create a escape square. I'm going to do, so it's very important we create an escape square for not the same color as the bishop. Very, very important. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. This pawn, I think, is gonna go. Oh, why not play rook to d2? Interesting, interesting. Very interesting. So I'm gonna trap. Oh, this doesn't trap the bishop. The bishop can come out. Ah, that's okay. Okay, now what are we? Oh, by the way, I'm not too worried. I'm just gonna move my king up. So I have 3 extra points, right? Look, I'm gonna trade off bishops. And now I should be winning. So sometimes you give away. This is what we call, Molly, like simplification. So simplifying is when you give away some points, but you give, you trade, or you make it easier for you to win later. So the reason why this is easier, I do have to be a little bit careful that this king doesn't come and gobble up these pawns. But in the meantime, I'm also going to be coming in this direction. Okay, so I'm going to do this move. Okay, so this move is really interesting. I should be fine. So you have to be very, very careful about this, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating my own. Ooh. I do enjoy free pawns. Thank you. So I'm not worried about this, Molly, because yeah, just not worried about it. If they capture here, it's going to be a pawn trade. I don't even have to give away this pawn. There you go. And now if the king tries to go back, you just use your king. Okay, interesting, interesting. I appreciate it. What black should be trying to do, Molly, is try to take my pawns, not trade them off. Because at least if black had a few more pawns on the board, it would be a little bit tricky maybe for my queen to stop. But yeah, so as you can see here, yeah, in this case, our opponent didn't give away our free pawn. However, okay, so bishop goes to d7. I think this game was quite good. I don't have enough time because I have another class, but maybe I can, wait 1 second. Maybe we can try to play a 5-minute game. Where's, Oh, I don't want, I just want a 5-minute game. Ah, black. It's just we've played a lot of games as black, which is fine. It's just that, like, especially one of the last games for today, I want to be white. I'm hoping, I just want to win that one pawn on e5. So in Monday's class, like, everyone was falling for all of the traps. And plus, I also got 3 white games in a row, which is very rare that you get, yeah, 3 games. There you go, white. So first 3 moves. Oh, of course they play the 1% that I didn't teach you, Molly. Of course they're gonna play this. So in the 1% that you don't do the first 3 moves, you actually trade off your bishop, and you now switch goals. So you go, now our protection is going to be d5. See, what is up today that what I didn't teach you in the chess opening today is something that we played. It's okay, we're just switching sides, basically. So the main goal now is to protect d5 for dear life. So what we're doing is we're just ganging up. See, now we have the knight, the pawn, and the bishop protecting that square. Now, guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to be creating that pyramid setup. So, the pyramid setup. We're just doing it on the other side. No, it's on the same side. It's just that we are having this bishop. Oh, so I didn't realize, by the way, this was my fault, Molly, but we could have just captured this pawn. That was my fault. But we can still do it. Have to be a little bit careful. Just be a little bit careful. See, our dark squares are weak. So we might have to play pawn f3 and then try to block that. Okay, so they played, this is a pretty understandable move, but I'm just going to try to kick that queen out. So we're up points, so we're just trying to kick out that queen. Okay, I'm hoping. Okay, awesome, queen goes there. Now, what I would like to do is, look, the queen is placed on that same, I don't know, I just really like this move. Oh, and I really appreciate, so I think he underestimated. So they have 2 defenders versus 3 attackers. So I do feel really bad for this opponent, but he did put himself into a trap. Now, I wonder, is he going to miss the royal fork? Ooh. I wonder, is he going to rage quit? Okay. That was actually kind of a satisfying game to to end the games for the class. I am going to but yeah, thank you so much for watching the games. I know that not for your first time learning of course, I really wanted us to win the pawn on e5. However, my chesskid account is kind of high. I mean, in terms of a lot of the people who are 1300 and above, they do know openings quite well. So maybe they even played the Nimzo-Larsen and they knew to not play e5 because someone who has 1300, they have a decent amount of, chess knowledge already at this point. So I'm just going to stop the recording of this.